Hello, everybody. Brightling here. I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to challenge you today. Throw some stuff on the table. And again, this is what this is all about. It's about having options on the table. And we're professionals, right? We want to see everything on the table here, and then cherry pick. The best what we think is actually reality and strategy. And by the way, if you hear a lot of beeping going in the background, I've got a text conference going on, so I'm getting texts like crazy, so I apologize for the background noise. But look, I'm not going to give any type of a direction on this talk, but let me point to you what I mean by different strategies. It's like, well, what do you mean different strategies? How can you? There's only one way you can pray. There's only one way you can know God. There's only one way. Well, let me challenge you. I have a lot of friends that went through horrible childhoods. I mean, disasters, nightmares. Okay, we talk about it all the time, and just dinner, jacuzzi, or whatever, just having fun. And you get down to them and you ask them, it's like, well, so, what do you think? And they'll tell you. This is the most fascinating part of it. They'll tell you, I would have never been who I am today if I didn't have a mom like that, or if I didn't have a dad like that. Okay, so what are we putting on the table here? Let me ask you something. You go to these religious places and they talk about prayer and stuff all the time, and that's fine. That's all great. And you should have no animosity towards anybody. But a lot of people say, well, I forgive that person for what he did to me. Let me ask you something. Is that necessary? Is there anything to forgive? As a believer, do you believe our Father in Heaven is really in control of everything or not? Do you believe that He put you here for your advantage so you can gain experience or not? Do you believe He created everything or not? Either God is or He isn't. So having said that, do you really have to forgive that person? Is there anything to forgive? Is there any doubt at all that your Father in Heaven put you in a position so you can learn? When you should be thanking your Father in Heaven for the knowledge that you gained, you're forgiving people. That's incorrect thinking. That's incorrect policy. So you're pissed off at your mom, you're pissed off at your dad, you're pissed off at your brother, you're pissed off at your ex-girlfriend, and you shouldn't be. God knows what He's doing. He's showing you things. That's His school. You're going through His school. That's His language. And you missed the mark. So, people have these big, huge, jamborees and all that stuff. Oh, yeah, let's all, forgiveness. What are you forgiving? You're forgiving? You gain knowledge? Knowledge is power. Power and knowledge is freedom. You don't need to be forgiving anybody. The only person that you need to forgive is yourself, because you know your motives. You know your motives. So you need to forgive yourself on your little motives, but somebody else, God strategically put them in your life. You say, my God, I went through hell when I was a kid. I was, all this bad stuff happened to me. I was like, hey, you know what? Then you're questioning your Father in Heaven then, aren't you? You see what I mean? This strategy. You take that weight off your shoulders, saying, I forgive that person. There's nothing to forgive. There's nothing to forgive if you understand why you're here. You ask Christ to forgive yourself for your motives. And I know, that these prayers about forgiving about others and stuff like that, but guess what? They don't know what we know today. They don't have the full knowledge of our Father in Heaven like we do today. We've had, 4,000 years of promises being fulfilled. We know more than they did back in those days. You better know more, or there's something wrong. Back in the guys that wrote the Bible and added to it and all that stuff. They don't understand prayer like you and I do these days. This is a whole different ballgame. So I want to challenge you. That's what I'm talking about. What I mean by strategy. You know what I mean? There's other ways to look at it. You might be off the mark on the way that you're thinking because we've been pumped religiously for your whole lives. You don't need to forgive, some stupid quirky thing that doesn't even, it's not even real anymore. Doesn't even exist. Poof, gone. Doesn't even exist. You used to have feelings about it because you've been incorrectly taught. And what reinforced it? Well, I forgive that person. Well, that makes it even worse. There's nothing to forgive. You think your Father in heaven is like, you know what? I understand what you showed me. Thank you. Thank you. That was a test. If that doesn't take a load off your shoulders, I don't know what will. But, you know, you don't have to believe it. That's what I believe with all my heart. But you don't have to believe it. But that's what I mean by open up strategy. Because, you know, people are a little bit hesitant. It's like, what's he talking about? You know, it's all about strategy. It's all about putting stuff on the table. If you can't use that, great. But guess what? The people that I've talked to, that talked to me and my business partner, Jim, about this stuff, it changed their lives because they just sit there and it's like they just take a big breath of air and kind of look at you like, huh, no kidding. It's like, yeah, no kidding. You are not, you know, you are not who you are today if you didn't go through that. You wouldn't be as powerful as you are, knowledgeable. So there's nothing to forgive, is there? Just something to think about. But look, next talk, I'm gonna talk a little bit about communication. And I'm not trying to tell anybody. I'm trying to make a point. There's other ways to look at this stuff. So you see what I mean? Let's put that on the table. Put that on the table. But what I'm doing, the reason I even talked about that, I'm not trying to get people to think or change your religion or any of that stuff. You use it however you want to use it. But, you know, when I mean there's different ways to look at it, there's different ways to use strategy to recognize what your Father in Heaven's doing and the benefit from optimally. Now you understand what I mean. So, you know, that helps open up the dialogue. You know, believe it or not, that conversation I've had with people, I'm not a minister or nothing. I'm just a guy, you know, just working, you know, do my investments, do software, and try to make a buck, you know, go to the baseball game Friday night. You know, I'm nobody. I'm nothing. So I'm not trying to change anybody's mind or anything like that. But you know what? You know, let's talk about different things that are on the table that can help us get us to where we want to be. We want to be the happiest. We want to be the optimal, you know, to have the desires of our heart. So next audio, we'll start putting some of that strategy to use and put some more stuff on the table. And so to help you understand communication between us and our Father in heaven. So I hope this helped. Thanks all. Talk to you soon. Send me some questions. You know, I'm trying to open up dialogue so people will ask questions, and then I can spin them off I can answer them. I can spin them off to Sammy Tippett. He's a heavy hitter on this stuff. So thanks everybody. Talk to you soon.